Alright, this will likely be my last video of 2025 and it will be a showdown between two blockbusters. Penrith, which is about 4 minutes walk to Queenstown MRT, and Zyon Grand, which is integrated with 𝗃𝗲𝗲𝗃 MRT. Penrith will be launching earlier on 18 October, while Zyon Grand will be 1 or 2 weeks later. Is Zyon Grand worth the wait, or should you just go for Penrith? Let's find out today. In case you are not familiar, I use my IPA framework to guide my clients in evaluating a development holistically based on these 5 factors. Number 1, location and amenities. Number 2, facilities and quality. Number 3, demand versus supply in the area. Number 4, pricing versus surrounding developments. And finally, layout. And an overall score will be given at the end. Feel free to check out my previous video at the top right hand corner to see how I use the IPA framework to evaluate a project like 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗲𝗃. By the way, I've also compiled a list of all the balanced new launch inventory with their respective price range. If you would like to have a copy of the PDF, just click on the link in the description below and I'll be happy to send it across. Alright, first up, let's evaluate the location of Penrith, which is just a short 4 minutes walk, fully sheltered to Queenstown MRT. Everybody knows how popular the Queenstown estate is given its convenience and connectivity. Strategically located at the city fringe, Queenstown is just a mere 5 MRT stops to the CBD, as well as a short 5 to 6 minutes drive to Dempsey Hill and Orchard Boulevard. Residents have immediate access to a coffee shop and Sheng Siong supermarket right next door at Skyview at Dawson. Essential amenities at 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲, Anchor Point, Queensway Shopping Centre and the Market Drive Hawker Centre are all within close proximity. You can also enjoy your evening walks along the Alexandra Linear Park. However, personally, I feel Queenstown just don't give me the kind of vibes that would make me want to immerse myself in. Maybe it's too dense with too many residential units, maybe it's too monotonous with not much excitement in the estate. I know some of you will disagree with me, but that's just how I feel. Overall, it's still a very sought after location and hence I'm going to give it a score of 8 out of 10. Coming to Zyon Grand, being a mixed development, it is integrated with 𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗲𝗃 MRT, a supermarket as well as a few restaurants right at your doorstep. Whether you are going for work in the CBD or shopping in town area, Marina Bay and Orchard are just 2 to 4 stops away, fully sheltered. Great World City, which is a full-fledged mall, as well as Zyon Riverside Food Centre are just a short 5 minutes walk away. In addition, Zyon Grand is located between Tiong Bahru and River Valley, which checks a lot of boxes for your day-to-day lifestyle needs. From cheaper hawker fares at Tiong Bahru Market, to trendy cafes along Yong Siak Street, to upscale restaurants at Robertson Quay, and fitness studios for the fitness junkies, there is simply something for everyone. There is just so much vibrancy in your hood. Furthermore, instead of your usual park connector, now you get to enjoy your evening walks along the Singapore River. Overall, I feel Zyon Grand offers a perfectly balanced and high quality lifestyle in the heart of the city. You can say I'm biased, but I'm still going to give it a score of 9 out of 10. Next up, let's evaluate the facilities and quality at Penrith. Developed by Hong Leong and 𝗂𝗂𝗯 with an extensive track record, you can be assured that there is a certain level of quality and standard. The developers have also engaged renowned architect 𝗃𝗍𝗃, as well as Lian Beng as the main contractor, which has obtained Band 1 and 2 under BCA's Concourse grading. The development comprises of 2 blocks of 40-storey apartments with an early childhood development centre. I like that the 2 towers are north-south facing with only 6 units per level. The expected TOP is not too long later in April 2029. It has a site area of slightly more than 100,000 square feet and comes with 462 units. Even though Penrith's site area is smaller than Stirling residences, it actually has the lowest density amongst other developments in Queenstown. This means that there is more room for large landscaping, including this massive swimming pool with 825 square meters of water surface area for you and your family to enjoy. Other than that, you are going to get a nice cantilever gym, children's play zone, tennis court, 2 function rooms, games room, as well as a sky terrace on level 40 for you to enjoy the panoramic views. For the units facing north, you'll be getting these amazing unobstructed views of Dempsey and the GCBs right from the comforts of your own home. Overall, I'm going to give it a pretty decent score of 8 out of 10. Coming to Zyon Grand, it is strongly developed by renowned developers CDL and Mitsui Fudosan Group, Japan's largest real estate developer. The developers have also engaged well-established architects Nikken Sekkei and 𝗃𝗍𝗃, together with reliable landscape consultant EcoPlan Asia and builder Wallhub for this one-of-a-kind project. It comes with 706 residential units in 2 iconic 62-story towers, as well as 1 tower of 36-story long-stay service apartments, the very first in Singapore. There will be 565 car park lots for residents, being 80% of the total number of residential units, which should be more than enough given that this development is integrated with the MRT. I attended the architect briefing by CDL, and I must say the design and landscaping are indeed mouth-watering. First of all, the facade of the building is nothing short of impressive. Inspired by orchid petals, the finishing is elegant, timeless, and iconic at the same time. I also like that the 2 towers are predominantly north-south facing with only 6 units per level. The 50-meter slab pool is elevated by a few stories from the road level, which gives you a commanding view over the surroundings. The relaxation lagoon appears to be sunken into a valley to provide exclusivity. On top of that, the development also comes with the central club, fitness suite, and tennis court amongst others. However, it doesn't come with the equally impressive infinity pool and 1 whole level of fitness equipment like its next door neighbour 𝗵𝗶𝗱𝗲. Notwithstanding, I'll still give it a pretty good score of 9 out of 10. Coming to unit selection, the premium facing is naturally the south facing, as you'll be able to enjoy a nice sea view if you're high enough. However, only the bigger units, namely the 3+ study, 4 and 5 bedders are facing south. If you're looking at these unit types, the question is, should you be paying a premium for a higher floor in order to enjoy the sea view? If you're going for the smaller units facing north, then the question will be whether you should be going for Block 3, whereby some stacks will be partially blocked by 𝗵𝗶𝗱𝗲, or Block 5, where you'll be facing the main road and 𝗁𝗵𝗱𝗲 in front of you. The thing is, you only know the actual prices on the booking day itself. With only about 30 minutes, you need to compare the pricing across different stacks and different floor levels. And that's why it's very important to go in with a proper game plan and with someone that's experienced to analyze clearly under pressure. This is an example of an analysis based on the different price scenarios which I do out for my clients even before the booking day, so that we can be well prepared on the actual day itself. If you'd like to find out and discuss more about the strategies I have for unit selection, feel free to reach out to me at 94515625 and I'll be happy to advise further. Next up, let's look at demand versus supply. Let's first quantitatively evaluate the potential demand for Penrith using our very own demand ratio analysis. Based on my formula, a high demand ratio will suggest that there is strong demand in the area because there are more units that have already been transacted recently compared to the number of units that are currently still available in the market. So here are the developments that I've shortlisted that are the most comparable to Penrith, given that they are relatively new and within short walking distance to Queenstown and Redhill MRT. With that in place, I tabulated the overall demand ratio of these developments across the different unit types, and you can see very clearly that the demand ratio comes in extremely strongly at above 120% across the 2 bedders, 3 bedders and 4 bedders. This is one of the better results I've seen and is also comparable to the Clementi West Coast area which we evaluated in the previous video. And this is not surprising given that the HDB upgraders in the area have very strong firepower, with 4-room flats in Queenstown transacting at 1 million on average and a 5-room loft unit breaking the national record at 1.658 million. So I'm not too concerned that there isn't too many reputable schools within 1 km of Penrith. Coming to supply, I'm using the supply ratio, which is the number of listings that are currently on sale divided by the total number of units in the development to measure the extent of supply. In this case, the lower the supply ratio, the better, as it will indicate that there's very little competition in the market. For the 2 bedders, the supply ratio is slightly higher at 6.6% but still in a very healthy zone. The 3 bedders are in the under supply range, while the 4 bedders are like rare Pokemons with only less than 1% of the total available units on sale right now. If you have the budget, I would highly recommend going for the 4 bedders here. As such, I'm going to give it a pretty strong score of 9.5 out of 10. Coming to demand versus supply for Zyon Grand, likewise I calculated the demand and supply ratios based on a few comparable developments in the area, namely Riviere, Rivergate, 𝗁𝗵𝗱𝗲, the Trillium and Highline residences. For the 2 bedders, the numbers look pretty decent and comparable with the demand and supply ratios for Penrith, scoring 5 and 4 points respectively. For the 3 bedders, the demand ratio isn't too optimistic on first look, while the supply ratio is in the healthy range. However, the numbers could have been better if not for Riviere, which is the main culprit here. Only 4 units transacted in the last 1 year, while there are 19 listings on sale in the market right now. On closer investigation, the poor response for Riviere's 3 bedders is really due to their inefficient layouts. First of all, you can see that there's lots of wasted space at the entrance foyer and walkway to bedroom 3. In addition, I feel that the kitchen is way too cramped. Lastly, you are paying 3.5 million for this house, but there isn't even a proper utility room for storage or for your helper. If not for Riviere, the numbers would have looked much better. For the 4 bedders, pretty healthy demand and supply ratio, so not a concern. However, we do have to take into account the injection of a huge number of supply due to the influx of new launches in the area. On balance, I'm only going to give it a score of 7 out of 10 for demand versus supply. By the way, I hope you have found the above information useful so far. If so, I would really appreciate if you can help me by clicking on the like button and subscribing to my channel. A number of my YouTube viewers have also reached out to me in person, and I'm glad I was able to advise them. If you also have burning questions, don't be shy. Feel free to contact me on WhatsApp at 94515625 and I'll be happy to explain further. Alright, back to the video. Next up, let's evaluate Penrith's pricing. We don't have the official indicative prices from developer yet, but word on the ground is that we are looking at an average price of around 2,800 PSF. Using our price gap analysis, let's look at how this compares versus the prices of the surrounding developments we saw earlier. As you will know by now, I'll need to adjust the average price upwards by 6% to take into account the harmonization effect. After which, I calculated what is Penrith's premium versus these resale developments. For example, you can see that Penrith will be around 277 PSF more expensive than Sterling residences. The next question is, given this price gap, should you go for Penrith or does it make more sense to go for Sterling residences? This is when I have to account for their age gap and calculate what is Penrith's premium for every 1 year difference in age. And you can see Penrith has a premium of around 40 PSF per year versus Sterling residences, as well as versus the average of all the other surrounding resale developments. Usually, I would say anything below 50 PSF per year is considered healthy, so Penrith's average premium of 42 PSF per year is considered decent but not mouth-watering. Considering the above, I'm going to give it a score of 7 out of 10 for Penrith's pricing. Likewise for Zyon Grand, I put out the average PSF of its surrounding developments including Promenade Peak and River Green which launched recently, adjusted upwards by 6% for the pre-harmonization projects, and calculated what is Zyon Grand's premium if you were to launch at an average price of 3050 PSF. You can see that I estimated an 84 PSF premium over Promenade Peak, mainly due to the fact that it has a service apartment component which the developer might actually front-load its cost onto the residential component. Even so, Zyon Grand will still be cheaper than some other developments like River Green, 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗲 and Riviere, even though it is 2 to 8 years newer than these developments, which is very rare. If I compare to the older developments like Martin Modern and Highline Residences, Zyon Grand only has a slight premium of 16 to 38 PSF for every 1 year difference in age. Can I just say that if Zyon Grand's PSF is attractive, then Promenade Peak's average PSF of 2966 is a no-brainer. Everybody was blinded by River Green's low quantum, but they missed out the fact that PP is almost 200 PSF cheaper. So in case you can't get Zyon, we still have very decent units at PP. If I were to compare from an absolute price quantum perspective, you can see the older freehold developments in the area are in a totally different tax bracket altogether, which makes the new launches look so much more palatable. Given Zyon Grand's pricing is pretty attractive from both a PSF and quantum point of view, I'm going to give it a higher score of 8.5 out of 10. Finally, coming to layout, let's first take a look at the 2-bed 2-bath. Both Penrith and Zyon Grand have similar floor areas of 678 square feet versus 646 square feet respectively. However, at first look, it is quite obvious that Penrith's layout will likely be more popular with the enclosable kitchen versus Zyon's open concept kitchen. Penrith also comes with a dumbbell layout which is more efficient as it eliminates the need for corridor space, so very clearly I'm going to go with Penrith for this one. For the 3-bedroom compact, again Penrith comes with an enclosed kitchen with window for ventilation so we can walk hay, but sadly Zyon Grand still comes with an open concept kitchen. Penrith's common bathroom also have a window for natural ventilation but Zyon doesn't. In addition, Zyon Grand's bedroom 3 is slightly smaller as the master bathroom is eating into some of the floor area and the bedroom is facing east, so it will be facing quite direct morning sun. Likewise, Penrith is definitely a clear winner here. Last of all, coming to the 3-bedroom premium, let's first look at Penrith's layout. At 1066 square feet, I like the huge and squarish living area with a wall-to-wall distance of 4 meters. This is quite a luxury for today's standards. Next, it comes with a flexi room which you can either use it for storage or as a helper's room. Thirdly, you get a decent sized kitchen with a small yard. And finally, there's even room for a walk-in wardrobe in the master which frees up more space in the bedroom. Coming to Zyon Grand, this is actually a 3+ study unit at 1055 square feet. I like that you have the flexibility to have a huge landscape living room, which is a rarity for 3-bedders, or to cover the study area if you need one. You also have a home shelter for storage. Likewise, you get a decent sized kitchen with a yard at the back. But I would say the best part about this house is not even within the unit. That's because there are 2 stacks for this 3+ study layout, and both are south facing, which means you'll be getting the sea view if you are high enough. And all parts of this house you will get to enjoy this amazing view. Hence, I'm going to go with Zyon Grand for this one. However, from a holistic point of view across all layouts, Penrith really did a good job, and hence I'm going to give it a pretty good score of 9, while I'm only going to score Zyon Grand at 7 out of 10. Overall, I must say it is a really close fight. Both developments performed well holistically across all 5 factors, with Penrith having a slight advantage because of the very strong demand versus supply numbers, as well as its superior layouts. Across so many developments I've evaluated, Penrith with a score of 8.3 is the highest so far, and definitely the highest in 2025, with Zyon Grand coming in close behind at 8.1. Ultimately, if you can secure a unit in either projects, you are already one of the lucky few. And if you don't want to subject yourself to the balloting gods, do reach out to me to see if you can qualify for any of the priority booking. Also, if you'd like to have more first-hand information on my advice on unit selection, feel free to reach out to me at 94515625 and I'll be happy to advise further. Once again, I'm Sean and I'll see you soon.